guys nervous about that exam?
Yeah, how about everybody else?
Did anybody study the section on the innovators?
No.
Did you read about Chef Boyardee?
Oh, you mean how he worked in the plaza and then 3 years later he opened up his own restaurant?
Everyone loved his tomato sauce, which he bottled up and sold.
Chef Boyardee is so good at Soren's ravioli.
But what about James Beard? You know he was the father of American cooking, an embodiment American food.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fail. This stuff is too hard.
I wonder how it was for chefs back in the day.
Yeah, the people who got us were who we are today.
Well, I can tell you about one. Hi, my name is Marie Antoinette Carême, and I was born in 1784. Throughout my life, I was known as the Chef of Kings and the Kings of Chefs because I worked for King George and I worked for Alexander. I worked all throughout Paris, opening up shops, displaying my beautiful centerpieces, which I used influence from Egyptian architect. No one else in my time period was ever bold enough to try it, and I stood out. King George loved my work so much that he hired me in his palace to work as the chef de cuisine and prepare food for all his constituents. So, I am the king of chefs. Though my life was short because I died inhaling charcoal from everything I cooked from, I am still spectacular. So, I lived a spectacular life, but had a tragic end.
Yeah, Carême set the scale for Escoffier, who is basically the patron saint of chefs.
But guys, what about Julia?
What about her?
She laid the pathway for women. Without her, none of us would be here.
But that also allowed people in the kitchen like Typhoid Mary. We all know what she did.
What did she do again?
She killed a whole bunch of people with the bacteria known as typhoid.
But that wasn't Julia's fault.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Julia. Comment ça-va? I am Julia Child. Back in my day, it was acceptable for a woman to cook at home for her family, but not in a commercial setting. It was me who changed the way. I made it possible for women to come into the kitchen and cook for thousands of people. I was the first woman on television. Television chefs today, such as Rachel Ray, have me to thank. But outside for being a woman, I cultivated French cooking for American dinner tables. I made it possible for everyday moms to cook 5-star French restaurants. Cookings. I am Julia Child.
Wow, Julia was really a big inspiration.
After Julia came Emerald Lagasse.
Like the restaurant?
How's everyone doing tonight? I'm Lagasse here. For those of you who don't know or haven't really heard of me, please allow me to enlighten you. I turned down a full scholarship at the New England Conservatory of Music to attend culinary school. Best choice of my life, I'll tell you. I graduated from Johnson & Wales University. From there, my career really began to take off. Opened up my very own restaurant, Emerald's Restaurant, and that year, it was named Restaurant of the Year in Esquire's magazines in 1990. I initially gained my fame in the culinary world as an executive chef of Commander's Palace in New Orleans. I'm very well known for my Creole and Cajun cooking styles. Throughout the years, I've appeared in many, many different shows. In fact, I was one of the 16 featured inside the 1993 Julia Child series, Cooking with Master Chefs. I hosted my very own show in 1987. Can't believe I just said that. Sheesh, I'm getting old. Well, if any of you have seen or heard phrases like BAM! I said this to keep my crew alert, and it added a lot of flair too. Other phrases like kick it up a notch, oh yeah, babe, and feel the love. Was to be said before or after adding something spicy to a dish. Someone had to spice things up. Hey, I want to thank you all for coming. Emma Lagasse here. Good night. Bam!
I still don't think I'm ready for this test.
Don't worry, we're gonna do fine.
Yeah, you guys, we totally got this.
Yeah! Back in primal times, food was just a generalization. It was a means to an end. We needed energy, and food was just a food source. We never really thought about sanitization, or making a plate look pretty. But as time carried on, we became more intrigued with what we were putting in our bodies. We took more time to make things look pretty, taste better, started using richer seasonings, and now we create amazing plate designs. In today's world, food is more than just something you put in your body. It's art. We make amazing centerpieces out of food or ice or something. We put ourselves in what we're eating or in cooking. For me, when I'm cooking, it's more than just following a recipe. I'm putting part of myself in my meal, and that's what makes the difference. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Destiny, and I'm here to talk about today's trends, which are vegan foods and gluten-free foods. The word vegan refers to food or material from any animal product. They don't believe in eating meat, milk, or anything that comes from an animal, like eggs, honey, or wearing leather or wool. Any animal derived products from lard to gelatin, because that all comes from animals. A vegan lifestyle carries at least 3 benefits. It avoids animal mistreatment and slaughter, may offer certain health advantages, and also reduces your environmental footprint. Gluten is simply a protein that's part of wheat, rye, barley, and other related grains. Some people cannot tolerate gluten when it comes in contact with the small intestine. The condition is known as celiac disease. There is also evidence that a skin disorder called dermatitis is associated with gluten intolerance. In patients with celiac disease, gluten injures the lining of the small intestine. The injury results in weight loss, bloating, diarrhea, gas, abdominal cramps, or vitamin and mineral deficiencies. When patients totally eliminate gluten from their diet, the lining of the intestine has a chance to heal. And yeah, that's it. And then they have gluten-free cupcakes and vegan cupcakes there.
At this point in time, I no longer want to talk about where we came from and where we are. Everyone standing here before me today is not a chef of the past and is not a chef of the present, but we're all chefs of the future. We're the future restaurant owners, banquet chefs, personal chefs, food photographers, food media specialists. We are going to run the culinary world someday. And I want you guys to think, where are we headed? I no longer think that food is just food. Food is now art, and therefore we are all artists. We take what we know and we apply it to what is on the plate. Nobody here that's going to own a restaurant wants to own a restaurant where people come in and say, oh, this is the menu? Well, let me just order something. It's lunch rush. I'm hungry. I don't have time. No. People that own a restaurant, you want people to come in your restaurant and say, I cannot resist what's on your menu. I want it because it is amazing and it is delicious and I just can't live without it. You want people to come in and even your cups of coffee and tea are spectacular. That is how you make money. That is how you stand apart, and that is how we are all going to be successful. not only are we all a team, but we are all the future. So, I urge everyone standing in front of me today, where are you headed? Where are you going? Where we came from is wonderful, but we have a large future ahead of us, and now is the time to plan. Now is the time to say, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, and now is the time to say, I am an artist, and I am spectacular.
So we'd like to take the end of this presentation to thank some innovators that we personally hold dear to our hearts. Chef Jeffrey Nair and Chef Rob I personally want to thank both these chefs for the time that they dedicate to us. They come here day in and day out, and they help us, they put in their time and their efforts, and their passion comes across with us. I apologize, I forgot somebody, and without her, this presentation wouldn't be what it was. Chef Robin. And she helped us set up, and our script, she typed it up. These chefs, they give up. They don't have to be here for us. They don't. They choose to come. Yeah, they get paid, we all know that, but they don't have to put in the love that they do. Because, I don't know, they come and they talk, they know about our personal lives, they take time to get to know each of us as an individual, besides just a student in a class. And I personally, I love that, and I thank you both of you guys so much, all three of you guys so much.
Both these chefs have been completely amazing. As far as Chef Jeff goes, I mean, it is no secret, I could not stand Chef Jeff my first year. But I didn't understand at the time why Chef was so hard on me. I didn't understand why he was pushing me so hard and pushing me to the limit, and I was only a first year student. But I came to learn that that toughness that he had on us is going to make us go further. Because let's face it, if you're in the culinary industry and you burn chicken and there's 1,500 people in the hall, nobody's going to pat you on the back and say, it's okay. You are going to do just fine. You get that chicken right. No, they're going to holler at you. They're going to throw towels and other objects, and you are probably going to be without a job. So Chef Jeff, that toughness that he puts in every single one of us, I've come to appreciate it. Chef Rob.
Oh, God.
Chef Rob was the total opposite, but it had the exact same effect. When Chef Rob, when we got to his class, it was most of our first time in hot food. And so we were scared. We were like, we were going to burn things, and we were going to do that. The first day we came into class, Chef Rob said, show us what you got. And he laid out chickens, and he said, I don't care if you mess it up. I don't care if you burn it. You're all going to debone the chicken. You're all going to cook it. And that, to me, was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Because you're expecting to come into a class, and you have to get it right. But he showed us that starting off, you don't always have to get it right. It's not about where you start, it's about where you're going. So that to me was a wonderful lesson that he taught me. And I'm thankful for both of them because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So thank you to them.
We're in trouble now, Jack. It's going down. So much for a 5-minute presentation.
I want to start off by saying thank to both of you guys. You guys really disciplined me in more areas than one. You guys really taught me how to stay on top of my game and be efficient in what I'm doing and to just focus more. And I really just thank you guys.
Let me step down so you can see me.
You might want to get back over here short.
I really
for us. I really appreciate how you guys were pushing us for Serve Safe. And I'm glad that I passed that test because I was real nervous. I couldn't even sleep at all. And I'm real happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, well, I love you both, and you guys have taught me so much. You taught me that I'm gonna make mistakes, but I can learn from them, and like it'll make me a better person in the end. And I mean, I can't even really. There's so much that you have helped me with and done for me. It's incredible, and I appreciate it so much. And you taught me that I don't really have to be a chef, but I have to do something with my life, and I appreciate it.
That's it. Thank you guys for coming and listening to us, and that's it for our presentation. Thank you.
Where are you from? What's your goal? Cumberland Regional.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm one of the adult students.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and I'm from Culinary CTE.
Laura from Richmond.
Alyssa from Melbourne.
Harry from Bonnet.
Joyce, adult student.
Take it from the top.
Alright. Dined through the decades, 100 years of American food. A century ago, someone just like you today was seated at a kitchen table the same as yours, pursuing a morning paper similar to this one. What's the big difference? The meal. While you may be enjoying your fat-free yogurt with a calf latte and sweet and low, depending on where you lived 10 decades ago, the average family filled a plate with porridge, flapjacks, and multi, or a heart-stopping amount of home-cured bacon. How did we in 100 years go from mush to Starbucks and Roof Chris? 1900 to 1909, New York City restaurant offered elk, caribou, bear, moose, and even elephant to diners. Modest eating establishments in the Midwest served mountains of the same, minus the elephant, at the considerable lower price. A particular favorite along the eastern seaboard was oyster Rockefeller. Baked oysters topped with savory shredded grits. To 1999, inspired by the foreign foods, chefs began combining cuisines in a trend new as fusion cooking. Coconut broth with tortellini were prepared with basil and steamed no-neck clams, and the results were dazzling. With the help of manufacturers, found a way to make everything reduced fat, low fat, or even fat-free. Also, the movement towards simplicity and paring down also found its way in
Innovations in dining out. What has changed? Smartphones. Mobile customers use their devices when they are out and about and looking for a place to eat. The NRA, which is the National Restaurant Association, says 65% of location-based traffic on video comes from restaurants, whether it's sharing pictures of the food they are eating, the people they are eating it with, checking in, or a like or a recommendation. Mobile has become not just a device that helps people find where to eat, but as a social engagement tool once they are there. Consumers on the go use their mobile devices to search for a place to eat, read the menu, know the prices, and read reviews before making their decisions. Searching for restaurant reviews is one of the most popular mobile actions according to the NRA. Last year, the NRA's forecast pegged the restaurant business as a $683.4 billion industry. Today, dining out is less formal, fast and casual, gourmet food, and great service is expected, and anything less will be on social media, sometimes instantly. Thank you.
Since 1980, American farmers have made an average of over 600 calories a meal per person. The price of healthy food has increased, while the price of fattening, high-calorie foods dropped in price, making it more suitable to eat unhealthy, high-calorie foods rather than consuming healthy foods. The portion of the food has increased, and we are eating a whole lot more than we should be. On average, we consume 300 plus calories than that of 1985. Calorie-wise, added sugars, added fat, and refined sugars make up 92%, while fruits and vegetables make up only 8%, making the United States ranking 9 in countries with most obesity.
What is new and trendy? What's new and trendy about it now from what it was compared to 30 years ago? Would you say it's for the good or for the worse? Well, let me give you some facts about the things that are new and trendy in this generation. Some foods now use chemicals more than back then, since this is a new century that we are talking about, and that many more chemicals have been invented to eliminate pesticides from our crops and fermentation. There are also more refrigerated foods that you can just heat up and eat without having to cook instead of preparing fresh food. Back in 1988, many restaurants used fresh ingredients such as herbs and freshly made meat instead of buying refrigerated meat or herbs that have been refrigerated for probably a year. Even though back in the 1980s or 90s, there were fast food restaurants, there are even more fast food drive-ins now compared to the 1980s or 90s. Although some foods have been closely looked at for any contamination or illness that could harm us, but in some ingredients there are chemicals that contain hazardous chemicals if we eat the same food too much.
Has dining outside created a new standard? Has it influenced us on where we consider to eat out? Mother Nature might affect your decision to dine outdoors. Some have learned to list the pros and cons before choosing indoor or outdoor seating. There are cold, hot, or stormy days that would make it almost impossible to enjoy your dining experience. If you choose scenic sites like high-rise, rooftops, patios, and maybe a private table set aside. The time of year, the weather, and the time of day affect your ability to dine outdoors. Owners are installing items and utilizing methods to protect and build a reputation even when bad weather strikes. One option could be retractable roofs that will stretch a certain distance. They could possibly build or place huge tables with umbrellas, even for persistent guests who insist on dining outdoors any season. If there's snow on the ground, owners may provide some type of warmth for their customers and maybe install a variety of heating units for customers and serving staff.
Are we concerned about pricing and quality of work? Are a quantity-based society when it comes to dining out? The demographics and or income play a role in this. Healthier foods cost more than cheap, unhealthy foods. And the reason for that is companies know that they can get more people to buy their foods than the healthier foods out in the stores. A factor that plays in this is people income. The ability to accept healthy foods and resist unhealthy foods decides whether or not you'll stay fit and if you're able to eat food that's beneficial to you. Most people are concerned about what they eat, and most don't really care about the price of their eating healthy. Quality and quantity matter because people don't want a small amount of food for a big price. Most times a person would prefer a large amount of food for a normal decent price. But however, there's portion sizes that people should pay attention to also.
People that are cooking at home are usually making healthier choices about what and how much you eat and drink, rather than larger portions and free refills when you're eating out. Cooking can be an interesting activity and a way for you to be with your family. You should eat fewer empty calories and decrease your portion sizes. A lot of recipes include calorie information per serving, and you compare calorie content closely and decide which meals will fit healthier and better in your diet. Making and serving dinner for a family may be hard. Each person may have a different calorie need, so you have to consider cooking the same healthy foods. That would be the way to go.
Has computerized point-of-sale systems changed our spending habits within the hospitality industry? If so, how? Technology is becoming an expectation in the hospitality business today. A quarter of consumers agree that technology options are important features that factor into their decision on choosing a place to eat. The point-of-sale systems are becoming a trend in today's age. Exactly 56% of restaurants have a system. 34% of consumers say that faster technology makes them dine out more often. According to the National Restaurant Association, NRA, studies show that 40% of adults say they would more likely place their orders at a quick service restaurant. 70% of consumers say that technology cuts transaction times, which it has, by 48%. 4 out of 10 adults ages 18 to 34 say that they would more likely pay for a quick service by mobile or wireless device if they could. So, has computerized point-of-sale systems changed our spending habits? Yes, it has, because we as the general public want faster. That's why we go to the drive-thru at a fast food place for any meal today, whether on your way to work or coming home from work, whereas 25 years ago where we didn't mind sitting down with our family waiting on dinner for an hour, maybe more.